Welcome back to Daily Dose of Space. Today, we are going to talk about one of the most fundamental and uncomfortable questions in space exploration. How far can the human body really go beyond Earth? Not in science fiction, not in futuristic dreams, but in reality, based on physics, biology, and current technology. We often hear that humans will live on Mars, build bases on the Moon, or travel deep into the solar system. But surviving in space is not the same as truly living there. So today we will break this down calmly, clearly, and honestly. Humans are built only for Earth. The first thing we need to understand is that humans are extremely specialized organisms. Every system in our body evolved under very specific conditions. Earth gravity, Earth atmosphere, Earth magnetic field, and Earth temperature. Even small deviations from these conditions create stress on the human body. Large deviations quickly become life-threatening. Outside Earth, almost everything is wrong at the same time. Gravity is weaker or stronger. Air is missing or toxic. Radiation is constant. Temperatures are extreme. This means survival beyond Earth is not natural adaptation. It is a continuous fight against biology. Mars, the most realistic option. Mars is often described as the next home for humanity. But Mars is not friendly. It is just less deadly than most other places. Without protection, a human on Mars would lose consciousness in seconds. There is almost no oxygen, and atmospheric pressure is far too low. Inside a spacesuit, survival becomes possible, but only temporarily. Inside a sealed habitat, survival can last longer, but it remains fragile. One of the biggest threats on Mars is radiation. Mars has no global magnetic field, and its atmosphere is thin. Cosmic radiation and solar storms reach the surface almost unhindered. This damages DNA, increases cancer. Risk affects the brain and accelerates aging. Even with shielding, astronauts would receive far more radiation than on Earth. Low gravity adds another layer of damage. Bones lose density. Muscles weaken, the heart and blood vessels change. Over time, the human body simply deteriorates. Mars may allow survival for years. It does not allow healthy long-term life. The Moon, closer but more hostile. The Moon is much closer, but in many ways even harsher. There is no atmosphere and no magnetic field. Radiation exposure is extreme and constant. Temperature swings are violent and unpredictable. Any human presence would require fully sealed habitats at all times. Even short exposure outside protection would be deadly. Low gravity causes rapid bone loss and muscle weakening. Micrometeorites regularly impact the surface. Every system would require constant maintenance. The Moon can support exploration. It cannot support long-term human settlement. Extreme worlds, Europa and Titan. Some moons are often described as intriguing or potentially habitable, or, for humans, they are entirely hostile. Europa is exposed to intense radiation from Jupiter. Surface exposure would be lethal within minutes. Temperatures are extreme and the environment is completely incompatible with human life. Titan has a thick atmosphere, but it is toxic. Temperatures are far below anything humans can tolerate. Gravity is low and long-term. Survival would cause severe health problems. In both cases, survival would depend entirely on sealed artificial habitats. Remove the technology and survival drops to zero instantly. The human body in space. Even in relatively controlled environments, the human body struggles. Astronauts already experience serious changes on the International Space Station. bone density decreases. Muscle mass is lost. Vision is impaired. The immune system weakens, the cardiovascular system changes, and the space station is still partially protected by Earth's magnetic field. On Mars or the Moon, these effects would be stronger and faster. Long-term exposure leads to permanent damage. How long could we really survive? On Mars, survival might be possible for a few years, with increasing health risks. On the Moon, survival would likely be shorter. On extreme worlds, survival depends completely on machines. There is no place where humans can live naturally. Beyond Earth, we would not be settlers, we would be patients on continuous life support. If humanity wants a real future beyond Earth, something must change. Either planets must be reshaped over centuries, or humans themselves must change biologically and technologically. Until then, space is not a second home. It is a place we can visit briefly. Earth remains the only world that truly lets us live.